Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all well. I haven't moved since the last video. I'm also sweltering. It's quite funny that the show that I'm about to talk about I went and go and see during the hottest summer I've ever experienced. Today we're doing the second video on a show, that show being Hot Mess, which is kind of what I am right now. So, if you want to know my thoughts and feelings on the show, stick around and we'll get into it in 2 whole seconds. So yes, we are back with a second video on the show Hot Mess. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, why is there 2 videos, don't you worry, we'll get into it. So let's do the spiel, let's get in, let's get out, let's get gone. For every show that I see, I like to do 2 separate videos. Time and willing permitted, the first one being the last video. The last video was the nervous guide. The nervous guide is everything you need to know about the show before you go in. Be that content warnings, sensory warnings, information that might be helpful about the theatre, merchandise available and merchandise bought. I always do little hauls. View from my seat, recommended age restrictions, running time, anything that will hopefully help a trip to the theatre be a little bit less scary, because sometimes I'm aware that it is kind of scary to go to a show and not know anything about it. The second video I do is this one. This is the review. Review is put in inverted commas because at the end of the day I'm no way professional. I just like talking about theatre, and sometimes including this whole trip, of which I think this is the second of the videos I'm creating on the shows that I've seen. Side note, I go and see shows alone, and when you go alone you haven't got the chance to sit with your friends after the show, or when you're walking into the tube, or when you're walking back to your car, etc, etc, to talk about the things you enjoyed, the things you might have changed, the people you enjoyed, the creative choices that were made, etc. And that's what this video is. So yeah, without further ado, let's talk. Oh, that was quite nice. Let's talk Hot Mess, the musical. This show is actually produced by the Birmingham Hippodrome, and it is quite ironic to me that I left the Midlands to go and see this show. It started at the Hippodrome, it has had a trip to the Fringe, and it's currently at the Other Palace for the summer. This show is very much a tale as old as time, if you will, in that an Earth wants to find their partner, falls in love with humanity, and the whole show talks about the relationship between the two, the rise, the fall, the devastation, and all of that is done by 2 people in 1 hour and 15 minutes. And it is done excellently, may I say. The book for this show and direction is done by Ellie Coote, and the music and lyrics and co-orchestrations for the show are done by Jack Godfrey. Jack and actually Ellie are 2 of the big names behind 42 Balloons, which I missed, still gutted. So that name was kind of in my senses that I needed to see this show, not only because it was produced by the Birmingham Hippodrome, which I love, but also with a creative team that are well known to be absolutely excellent. The show itself made me laugh, made me hate humanity a little bit. That's a story for a different day. It just was thoroughly enjoyable and an excellent time had by all, I think. The choreography for this show is done by Alexander Sariamento. I'm probably going to butcher so many names here, and I truly apologise right now. I really enjoyed the choreo. It's not like it's not an all singing or dancing show, but the way that it has been put together is brilliant. The poses and the moves that have been done by mostly Daniela's character are excellent, and just the way that they move around the space is top notch. The set has been designed by Shantho Chowdhury. Again, probably butchered 100%, hand on my heart, truly sorry. I'm the worst at names. The set is standalone, it doesn't move very much, but it is very cleverly put together, and I also really enjoyed how throughout the piece and throughout the relationship, how things that looked so smart and elegant at the beginning turned into quite the chaotic nature as the relationship developed throughout the show, and the relationship between the two characters changed. So did the set in a way. There was more papers and everything everywhere, and nothing was in the same place it was to begin with by the end of the show than it did in the first start of the show, and I really enjoyed that. The other creative person I wanted to mention was the costume. Costume has been done by Sarah McCarty. I just want to wear the entirety of the Earth costumes. They were amazing. I don't know why, but the purpley speckled jumper was one of my favourites. However, the initial dress you see Earth in was amazing, and the final dress that Earth wears was again outstanding. And yeah, I constantly wanted to see what Earth was going to come out next, which was very, very fun, as was the rest of the show creatively. It was a fun show. Cast wise, this is quite easy because there's two cast members. We have playing the Earth Danielle Steers, and playing Humanity, or Humanity, is the person of Morgan Gregory. I really enjoyed both of them together. Their chemistry as a pairing was amazing, and they bounced off each other really, really well. I've always been quite the fan of Danielle Steers. She is one of those people that I'm like, if she just sung the phone book at me, I would take it and want more. Her presence on stage is brilliant, and it was like 10/10, no notes, fantastic. There is a song that is towards the end called My House, which is sung by Earth, which the way it all starts off, like the insane power that Danielle had in that moment, and the way that she started off as this person that's like, she had enough. It was just amazing to just sit and watch. And yeah, like I said, I've been in love with Danielle for years through different performances, and this was again another fantastic one from her. The role of Humanity, like I said, is played by Morgan. Morgan's portrayal of Humanity had so many layers to it, just like Humanity themselves. You have the anxious, like, what if I'm not enough for this planet? How can I show that I am worthy of her, etc, etc. And you kind of feel like, oh, he's working really hard, he's doing everything, to the other side of him, which is that I'm the big man, I'm only here because I need to be here, etc. I had a love-hate relationship with Humanity, which is kind of the way that I feel in life. Sometimes I think, wow, humans are amazing people, and then at other times you're just like, what are we doing to this planet? So that is kind of brilliant, because that's how I felt about the character of Humanity and the way that Morgan portrayed it. So maybe that's what they were planning, who knows? But the two characters were brilliant in their separate times, but also when they were together. I just really enjoyed the two of them together. It's just brilliant. If you can't tell, I really enjoyed watching this show. I would hope and wish and pray that you can get down to London, to the West End, to see the show at the Other Palace before it closes on the 6th of September. I would 1000% recommend getting yourself a ticket to see the show because it is just so much fun. And it also makes you think, in a way, about how we take things for granted sometimes. Like I said, sometimes you're just sitting there thinking, what are we doing to this planet? And when this planet is being portrayed by Danielle Steers, and you're like, we've got to protect Danielle. Which, yeah, it's a weird thing to think, but it was good and poignant and fun and just everything. Plus, you can go and watch it in the matinee and be out and into the world by 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's just a joy. Especially if you're getting a train home like I was. Anyway, that is enough of me on my travels. I'm now going to stop talking because I've talked enough for everybody. And I'm just really hot and my throat hurts. So that is kind of a signal to stop. If you have any questions about Hot Mess, feel free to ask them in the comments and I will get back to you as soon as I can. But yes, this is technically the second video duo on the shows that I've seen. There are more to come. We're going to finish this video here, bid you farewell. I'm going to wang open all my windows and just lie in a dark room for a bit. Got some editing to do now, but that's silent. That's nice. We like an edit. Anyway, stop wittering on. I'm going to leave you be. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please go and check out Hot Mess before it closes. Fingers crossed it's not the end. I hope there'll be more. We have a cast recording. I have been listening to it a lot since I returned home. And yeah, stop talking. Let's leave you alone and say what I always say at the end of every video, which is thank you very much for watching. I hope you come back next time. And finally, so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen and goodbye. Bye everyone.